Welcome to my Decisive Campaigns Ardennes Offensive discussion about scenario Saint Vith, Episode 1. Upon entering the scenario, we are focused on the 6th Panzer Army, which is located at Stad Kill. So in the order of battle, we have the 6th Panzer Army is the senior headquarters in the scenario, and it has two sub-formations. The 1st SS Panzer Corps, and underneath the 1st SS Panzer Corps is the 12th Volksgrenadiers, the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division, the 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler, and Kampfgruppe Piper. To the south is the 66th Corps, and it has two Volksgrenadier divisions, the 18th and the 62nd, right at the south of the map. So the first thing we should have a look at is the strategic map. So as you can see, the main victory locations are located in the centre and to the northwest of the map. So essentially we're going up in a wedge from the southeast to the northwest. The supply depots to note are the three on the map, American ones, which we will need to capture. Fourth one over here, and ours are here on the east. So I mentioned last time about headquarters power. Now, usually everyone rushes to the front and starts banging away with hexes and counters and things. But really, I think the first thing you should look at is your headquarters. Press the keypad 5 and you'll get the headquarter power range, as you'll remember in divisions of 5. So the 1st SS, for instance, is just outside the 6th Panzer Army 100% range, so it is currently sitting at 95. The 12th Volksgrenadier Division's at 100 from the 1st SS, of course. This 1st SS is 95 as well. And perhaps which might interest you to know is if we go all the way down to the bottom of the map and find the 66th headquarters, currently its headquarters power is 0 from the 6th Panzer Army. So what we need to do is probably move the 6th Panzer Army more into a slightly more southerly position, but trying to keep as central as possible. So it's probably just as easy to go down to, so we'll put him in move and we'll move him as far as we can. 1st SS, we'll move him down to there for the moment, I think. Yeah, we'll put him on that one there. etc. So as we're moving our units, we're still trying to project our best HQ power forward as well. Now, did that... okay, so the 66th Corps now has 10% from the 6th Panzer Army, but indeed these guys, we'll select them, we'll move them further north a couple of hexes so they're behind their guys, perhaps to about there. And once again you can see they're starting to project. There's going to be areas which are not going to be able to get 100%. The 62 Volksgrenadier Division, okay, they're 85. It's just the way it works, but you always try and get maximum from your points. So normally when I move people like the 6th Panzer Army, all these units that are associated with it, I like them to move them with them as well. So we'll move our engineers with him. Always good to have your anti-aircraft fire with your headquarters in case those pesky American aircraft come along. Perhaps these guys we can move that way. Yeah, okay, we'll move them that way. Right, so that's the 6th Panzer Army looked after. So the next thing I like to do, after I've got an idea where the headquarters are, is to have a look at the units, or the American units, which have been divulged to us, or we can see. 18th Cav Squadron. And I'm particularly interested at this stage in their entrenchment values. 112 for that guy. 95 there. 95 there. Okay, etc. Wow, 251, so they're going to be hard to dig out. So I'll try and concentrate my focus at this stage on the north of the map, so not zooming around. So we'll select the, looks like this is the 2nd Battalion of the 89th Volksgrenadier Regiment. So my usual trick is to whoever's out front, give him a boost in the recon and see what we can see. Like intercept fire, to be expected. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So the 67th, okay, so this is your big challenge early, is these guys who are dug in quite deep, 177. Now we know from our tables that infantry in heavy forest, they can dig into 225 points. So that's quite a significant amount of defence for us to get through. So early in the game, I try and take the World War I, the concept of the Stormtrooper, or the Stormtroopers, which was the granddaddy of Blitzkrieg, and have any hard targets or heavily dug in enemy units, we try and just go around. So with the 2nd Battalion, we'll continue to do that. Alright, so we're certainly copying some flak there. We'll have another look at this guy, see if that's changed. 177 still. Now, the second thing we really need to concentrate on as the German forces is American artillery. 131 there. So what an opportunity to sidle up to this artillery unit and give us a chance to blat the guy. So we have the 89th against this artillery unit, so what we'll do is grab the 89th artillery unit. Okay, so we're out of range at the moment, so I'll move him to there, and we'll find some ranged attack we can make with them. Okay, the 12th he'll do. 12 to 1, that's what we like to see. Right, so we've knocked him down to 23 readiness. We've killed 11 105mm howitzers, so that is an excellent start. So we need to find the next unit, 89th unit, 89 there, 12 and 89 there. So this is the 1st battalion of the 89th Volksgrenadiers, and basically we're going to do the same thing. We're going to push forward. So then we'll grab the grab the 27th, I think, and we're going to do the same thing. Yep. '27th. So we're not so much worried about attacking in the first move as in trying to surround or isolate the leading American units, especially the ones that are heavily dug in. Most importantly is to move your headquarters forward. Once again, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. So these guys are getting 100% on the headquarters power. So we're still moving the 27th. So what we might do is we could eliminate that guy probably if we use the 27th on him. I'll tell you what, we'll move him. Engineers. And eventually the idea will be for the Volksgrenadiers to isolate these guys, then surround them. Actually, don't give them a chance to escape. We'll get maximum concentric attack points, and that's probably the only way that the Volksies can overcome these powerful American units that are dug in. So I'll go away now, I'll finish the move, and then I'll come back and discuss that. So this is the view after the completion of my first turn. As you can see, the 1st SS blasted a hole here through which Kampfgruppe Piper was able to pour through, and is about to get stuck into the artillery or the units behind the front lines. All the artillery units have had some sort of attack to reduce their intercept fire capability and to blunt the American defences. Around the north, I've pushed the 48th Volksgrenadier Division with the divisional Hertzer division around the north to attack Bullingen from that direction, and I've pushed the Nebelwerfers around the north with them to give them some support in blasting through what no doubt will be some defence around this Bullingen supply depot. The 12th Volksgrenadiers have successfully surrounded just about, or put enough zones of control over these American units that if they move, it'll be at the penalised rate of 10 extra per hex. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to close off this gap here, so the American units are still in supply. So as you can see, there's these gaps here in the traffic of our zones of supply. So we'll hopefully put them out of supply in the next turn, and it just depends on where they move. But all in all, I think the 12th Volksgrenadiers are in a good position to eventually surround those dug-in American units if they don't move. Right, so moving a little bit further south. So here's where the hole was, where the 1st SS managed to punch through, really decimated this anti-tank unit and this recon unit. And similarly, the 1st SS is ready to pour through as well and head towards Bullingen. Further down the map, we have the 3rd Fallschirmjägers, who have been stopped at this valley between these two ridges by these two units. My priority, as I mentioned last time, was artillery and anti-tank units, primarily what I try and bombard. So I've given these two guys a bit of a pasting, so it'll be interesting to see if they continue to try and delay or they withdraw. The 5th Fallschirmjägers I've pushed down towards this artillery unit, and it looks pretty open down here to the south, so I'm hoping they push through there. The 18th Volksgrenadiers had some very tough American units to deal with. 293 defence notionally at this stage, so that'll be hard to push out. So once again, that'll be a starve them out, surround them with concentric attack. The same with this chap here with 277. Not much sense attacking them until you get them out of supply, surround them, and then you go there. And the same for this guy. These guys are just going to take time to blast out. But our first trick really is getting them out of supply. So let's have a look there for enemy sources of supply. Do we get it to come up yet? Mightn't come up yet. Or friendly sources of supply. Right, so at this stage, this chap's out of supply, it looks like. And these guys in here are still in supply. So I can't imagine that'll last very long. The Fallschirmjägers will come down here. We're going to head towards Andler, and then anyone caught against the river will be out of supply as well, like this unit here. And as you can see, once again, the artillery units have copped a pounding. This is an artillery unit as well. And further to the south, the 62 Volksgrenadiers, pretty much the same sort of story. Anyone with decent entrenchment, we're just going to surround them, get them out of supply, and then concentric attacks. The 164th I've pushed down the south here to perhaps put some pressure on. We'll get across this bridge here, trying to take that bridge there and then push further north. So I'll just have to see what happens. That's about all to report, I think. So let's go back to the north of the map. We'll hit the end of turn button. Oops. So our total losses at this stage are 155 versus 765. So that's a pretty good effort at this stage. So here we are in the north of the map. The guy that was in here is withdrawn. So at this stage we can have a look at the history, which is always interesting. We can say go to any event. So this was an airstrike by the Allies. Ooh, we lost 2 Jagdpanzers 4s. And that was it. An air supply up here. So 381 flak points repelled 2 of 10 aircraft. Air supply delivered 160 supply and 160 fuel. Okay, any unknown. Okay. Oh. And that was it, really, for the Americans. Oops. I'll go back to the map. And now we're on to turn 2. So obviously we'll investigate towards Bullingen with our 12th Panzers Hetzers and our 48th Volksies. We'll continue to Piper's push. We'll push straight towards Bullingen, and hopefully the 1st SS coming up behind will clean up this artillery. These guys here looks like they're in for the long haul. So we will continue surrounding them with our Volksgrenadiers and reduce those pockets. But all these motorised units, they'll be going full blast towards Bullingen and the north west of the map, and of course along this main thoroughfare, or this road here, which is a major road. So that's obviously going to be our main axis of advance from Bullingen across to Butgenbach, Wames or Vames, Malmedy, and at least across to Stavelot. We'll be following this main road, and then after that we're back on the dirt and the minor roads up here in the north. Okay, so that's it for this edition of Saint Vith scenario. So the main things out of here are move your units by regiment, then for the whole division. Attack artillery and anti-tank gun units, and with high defensive entrenchment enemy units, just go around them, and with your Volksies you just have to surround them and go for a concentric attack. With your motorised units and Kampfgruppe Piper, we're interested in speed, pushing them forward, getting into the rear areas, generally causing as much carnage as we can, and basically following this main road of advance across to Stavelot. Further south, it's basically the same story, perhaps in a less intense scale given the units that are down there, but the same philosophy. Beat up the anti-tank guns so that you can't have your armour damaged. Keep pushing your headquarters to the front or near the front of their unit so they can provide as many HQ power. And that's going to be basically the theme, I think, going forward. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys react. We haven't even got all the information on these guys yet. There's still only minimal info identified. Rightio, so I'll leave it there and I'll come back next time with turn 2. Thanks for listening.